underreporting the death count and for clamping down on media coverage critical of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's handling of this pandemic. Well, Rana Matthew is global opinions writer at the Washington Post, has been one of the most vocal critics of Mr Modi and has been under investigation by the government for some social media posts. She joins me live now on the programme from Delhi. Rana, welcome here to the programme. Journalists like yourself have long been saying these figures have been underreporting what is really happening. But does it still surprise you to hear this new research say they could be out by tenfold?
Well, Matthew, as somebody with her nose to the ground, as somebody who has been reporting from the first wave in India, I am not the least bit surprised. Neither can I say I stand vindicated, because when I wrote my Time magazine cover as early as April 2021, my headline was that India is undercounting its death by 10 times. And at that point of time, the Indian government labeled me an alarmist who was trying to malign the image of India globally. But as somebody who has been reporting, I know what the devastation that has happened in rural India. There are patients, we do not have testing facilities. Even now, we are not prepared for an imminent third wave in India. So this undercount and this report that has come that says the number of deaths could be 4.7 million, I do not think it's an exaggeration. I am not the least bit surprised.
And
sure.
And in terms of that undercounting, I mean, in terms of the nature of the vastness of the country, that is what the government always stresses, the way this virus works and kills. Is it because of that, as opposed to any deliberate undercounting? Which is it, do you think?
Matthew, most of us have been warning the Indian government with our reportage, and including the regional newspapers in India, which have been reporting about bodies floating in the Ganges, and that's an image that the world saw. But despite evidence in its face, if the government of India brazenly says that no, the deaths are in control, the deaths being reported are undercounted, I think the government is trying to hide the figures. It's trying to hide its complicity, because then it will have to take accountability for being complicit. Whether it was the election rallies that Mr. Modi took when the second wave of COVID was happening, here is a man who does not wish to take accountability. So this is a gross undercounting. This is about, of course, we are a diverse country, but sure.
And in terms of accountability, do you think the question that now flows out of this is how many of those deaths could be avoidable? Do you get any sense, you're there in India, do you get any sense that the Modi government will be put under pressure to answer that basic question?
Well, ideally, Matthew, the Modi government should have been asked tough questions in the first wave itself, when we were found, when our hospitals were struggling with lack of oxygen. But we are a government. Mr. Modi, is a prime minister who likes to distract people from the issues. I don't think any accountability will be sought of him, either from journalists or from opposition leaders. So I think he's going to go scot-free. But as you said, it is probably one of the worst human tragedies that has occurred in India over the last couple of decades. And this report is something that should shake people of India from their lethargic complacency.
I mentioned in the introduction in terms of the government's approach to journalists who've been trying to actually document and say and report on what's actually happening on the ground. Tell me the sorts of problems, the sorts of pushback you've had from government.
Well, as soon as I wrote the Time cover story with images of the crematoriums, Mr. Modi's lackeys went on television calling me a vulture journalist who was receiving funding from international agencies. As we talk, Matthew, I'm being investigated by multiple agencies for my relief work and for my reportage. I'm being asked questions if I know owners of the BBC and Time magazine, because these are the channels I've been speaking on. So at this point of time, the government is trying to shoot the messenger, and I am paying the price of speaking the truth during the second wave of COVID-19, and I shall continue to speak because there is no pushback. It's probably the worst possible time for me as a journalist, but my job is to keep speaking truth to power. It is unpopular, but I shall keep doing it.
Well, Rana, thanks very much for talking to us live there from Delhi. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Matthew.